Now, the first thing we're going to look at on this training are the different platforms that use the Logix 5000 software. There are 4 in total. There used to be 5. The first one is Controllogix, which is a PowerFlex 700S drive with an embedded controller. This controller can handle all the parameters within the drive and external values as well. Then we get to Controllogix, which is the most powerful system of all of them. This can handle very small to very large projects. It is a chassis system and a multi-controller system. Then we get to Controllogix. In appearance on your screen, it looks very much like Controllogix. This is a soft controller installed on your computer. Then we get to FlexLogix, which is in fact discontinued, but the reason I mention this is the fact that Flex.io are still used quite extensively across networks such as ControlNet and DeviceNet. Then we see the CompactLogix, which is similar to Controllogix, except it's smaller and it's perfect for small to medium applications. It is not a chassis mounted system, it is a DIN rail mounted system. The first one we're going to look at is the Controllogix platform. It consists of a power supply, a chassis, and modules such as controllers and I/O and comms. Here you have 2 controllers in the same chassis, which you can do with Controllogix. You can also install your modules in any slot. There are no rules. And another feature is the removal and insertion under power. You can, in fact, remove and insert modules while the power is still on the chassis, with no damage. Let us have a look at the breakdown of the system now. In the top left-hand side, you see a chassis with modules installed. Now, if we look on the right, you see the backplane when the modules have been removed. You see a backplane, which is a printed circuit board, and there are sockets where your modules plug into, and this backplane provides transmission of power and communications across to every module in the chassis. Then we have the chassis themselves, of which there are 5 chassis sizes: a 4-slot, a 7, a 10, and a 13, and a 17. This is a 10-slot example. Now the chassis numbering always starts at slot 0, up to the maximum, which is in this case slot number 9. The power supply is plugged into the backplane and it supplies 5 volts DC to every module. It does not supply power to the field devices. So if we look at a controller, this specific one is a L70 series 5573. Now it consists of a USB port, which has replaced the previous serial port, SD card slot, where you can save your program, and an energy storage module, which has replaced the battery that used to be attached to these controllers. And the display panel showing status. Now this is a scrolling display. It gives actual detail of module type and any problems you may have with them. There's also a key switch where you can change the controller mode at the controller itself. And it can handle a memory up to 8 meg. Then we get to the I/O modules. The one on the left is a DC input, which is digital, and an analog output. They look similar. On the right hand side you see the removable terminal blocks. These are plugged into the fronts of these modules. All your field devices are connected to these terminal blocks. The beautiful thing is here that you can remove those terminal blocks from the module, remove the module, replace it, put the terminal block back without having to disconnect any field devices. Then we get to the communication modules. The one shown here is an Ethernet IP. They are also ControlNet modules and DeviceNet modules, and this is collectively known as the NetLink strategy. Legacy networks also, where we have a DH Plus and Remote I/O module. Thank you.